Lebanon is a small Middle Eastern country in Western Asia, bordering the eastern Mediterranean Sea. It borders Syria to the north and east and Israel to the south. Its Mediterranean coast has historically made Lebanon an important center of trade and culture. The capital of Lebanon is Beirut, the largest and most important economic, cultural, and political center of the country. Lebanon is one of the smallest countries in the world, with an area of approximately 10,152 square kilometers. But within this small geography, there is great cultural and religious diversity. Although Arabic is the official language in the country, French and English are also widely spoken. The population of Lebanon is approximately 6 million and is made up of different religious and ethnic groups. Maronite Christians, Sunni Muslims, Shia Muslims, Druze, and other smaller sects are the main groups that shape the social structure of Lebanon. This sectarian diversity has given Lebanon a rich cultural heritage, but has also occasionally led to social and political tensions. Lebanon's history is rich, ranging from the Phoenicians to the Ottoman Empire, from the French Mandate to the modern independent state. In 1943, Lebanon gained independence from France and became a relatively liberal and democratic state in the Middle East. However, the civil war between 1975 and 1990 shook the country to its core and led to a prolonged period of recovery. Lebanon, whose economy has historically been based on trade, banking, tourism, and services, was known as the financial center of the Middle East until the mid-20th century. However, the civil war and the political instability that followed took a heavy toll on the country's economy. Lebanon's reputation as the Switzerland of the Middle East is based on a series of historical, economic, and social developments. This title stems from the economic prosperity, cultural diversity, and relatively stable political environment that Lebanon experienced, particularly between the 1950s and 1970s. After World War II, Lebanon, with its strategic location and free market economy, became the trade and financial center of the Middle East. Lebanon's banking system attracted investors and capital from the region by adopting Swiss characteristics of financial secrecy and stability. Lebanon's capital Beirut became known as the Paris of the East during this period and became one of the region's most important financial and tourism centers. Lebanon's cosmopolitan structure has enabled various religious and ethnic groups to live together. This diversity contributed to the country's cultural richness and made Lebanon the cultural and intellectual center of the Middle East. The country has also emerged as the educational and media center of the Arab world. Beirut is home to the Arab world's most important universities, publishing houses, and newspapers. Tourism has become an important component of the Lebanese economy. With its mountains, coastline, historic buildings, and nightlife, Lebanon has become an attractive destination for both regional and international tourists. This tourist attraction contributed greatly to Lebanon's economy and helped modernize the country. However, Lebanon's heyday ended with the outbreak of civil war in 1975. The war deeply shook Lebanon's economic and social structure and plunged the country into years of instability. Even after the end of the Civil War, traces of the times when Lebanon was known as the Switzerland of the Middle East live on in the country's cultural and historical heritage. The 1975 Lebanese Civil War was a bloody period of conflict that began on April 13, 1975, and lasted for nearly 15 years, ending in 1990. The war was characterized by deep disagreements between the various religious, ethnic, and political groups in the country and the intervention of foreign powers. The war began when a bus was ambushed by Maronite militias in the Ain al-Rahmaneh neighborhood of Beirut. This attack inflamed long-standing tensions between the Palestine Liberation Organization, PLO, and Christian Maronite militias and sparked a widespread conflict. The root causes of Lebanon's civil war were sectarian divisions, political power struggles, and the interference of external actors in the region. Various groups, Sunni Muslims, Shiites, Druze, Maronite Christians, and Palestinian refugees, engaged in armed conflicts to protect their interests. Lebanon's internal politics were further complicated by the fact that the PLO was based in Lebanon and organized attacks against Israel. Throughout the war, Many militias emerged and Lebanon became a country de facto controlled by different forces in different regions. Control of the cities constantly changed hands and Beirut was divided into East and West Beirut. West Beirut was controlled by Muslim and leftist groups, while East Beirut was controlled by Maronite militias. In 1976, Syria intervened militarily in Lebanon and became directly involved in the conflict. Although Syria's intervention was initially intended to support the Christian militias, it eventually switched sides to protect its own strategic interests. Israel also intervened in the Lebanese conflict, occupying Beirut in 1982 and expelling the PLO from Lebanon. The Lebanese civil war wreaked havoc and humanitarian crisis on the civilian population. Tens of thousands of people were killed, hundreds of thousands injured, and millions displaced. Throughout the war, there were mass killings, human rights violations, and destruction. The economy collapsed and infrastructure was badly damaged. The war ended with the signing of the Taif Agreement in 1989. It envisaged a reorganization of Lebanon's political structure and a more balanced sectarian representation. With the official end of the war in 1990, Lebanon began a process of reconstruction. But the scars of the war and sectarian tensions continued to influence the country's politics for a long time.